Big Moves, Bigger Conversations is back. This is season 2. I'm coming bigger, better than ever. Of course you like that. It's me, Big Sascha. But I immediately text Rob and said, yeah, I thought I was going to have to run up on somebody at church. We're going to sell out at homecoming. I'm ready for the dance. We going up. And then who are you looking to as an inspiration? What body type are you looking for?
So...
Welcome back to Big Moves, Bigger Conversations. I'm your host, Sascha. We are back in studio, and I am sitting here with Rob Tate of NineOh7. Rob, give me some energy. How are you feeling being in studio?
You know, I'm really excited to be here with you and talk about, we're going to get into some things.
We have to get into it. This is season 2. I'm coming bigger, better than ever. And for those of you who are not familiar with Rob is what I would call... He's the glue. Rob, I really find, that's why I wanted you to embrace me earlier. Rob is that person of the group that truly holds the friendship group together. Rob, if I had to describe you to someone outside the circle, I would say Rob is resilient. He is very smart and he's business oriented. And that's why I chose you to be on today's podcast.
Thank you.
Rob, I am so, and I don't know, right? We don't always give folks their flowers in real time, but I just feel like with you, you've always been about getting things done. And I'm so proud after 10 years doing this of just your resilience, right? Like, I feel like today's episode will be about how you continue to double down and invest in yourself, and you just continue to excel. And so if I haven't said it in our one-on-ones, I am super proud of you and excited for you to be our first guest of season 2.
Are you trying to make me cry?
I told you I think that's what this podcast is about, right? It's about me extending my network, right? We don't just sit here and chat on Big Moves, Bigger Conversations. We educate. And you are educating folks in your own right. And as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, doing this is college. That's what I want to get into. And so, Rob, before we jump into all things NineOh7, I want to talk about our journey, right? Our friendship journey, because it has grown.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I am a mother to my favorite boys.
Okay.
But on a serious note, so for those of you who don't know, Rob and I met at North Carolina A&T State University, clearly. And Rob was a year younger.
Yes.
And I really don't know how we connected. So.
I think we met at Josh's apartment.
Okay.
I know we met at Josh's apartment because my best friend from home was Josh's roommate. And so we would all convene at their place.
Got it.
I know that we met there.
Again, it's all a blur at this point. I'm 10 plus years removed from A&T, but I feel like the part that I am most, I think, passionate about sharing on this platform is the growth in the friendship.
Yeah.
Right? We started out very social, and now we've sort of evolved where even now we're tapping into having conversations about business.
Yeah.
I'm on this platform. I'm growing my YouTube. I'm so appreciative of your willingness to come on here and just sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And when we hit on partnership or growing with your friends, I don't think people realize how appreciative I am of people giving up their time, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is free in this life. And so the fact that you're sitting on the couch with me today, in my mind at least, puts you at a higher level. Some of y'all have already been at the bottom. But I do love you, and I so appreciate you coming on Big Moves, Bigger Conversation.
So, one, I love you too.
Yes.
And I'm excited to be here on your platform. I think that what you're doing and using your voice is a really important piece just of life.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see you expanding and seeing where your voice can take you. One. Two, I would say that our social friendship, right? When I moved to New York, you were still living there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know people. And so you became a part of my close community. We had Thanksgiving and, so many things. I can even think of us just going and getting crabs and cooking them in my apartment. those moments are probably times where we were closer,
Yeah.
you know, like we just get closer and closer. And I think as we've gotten older, we've talked about so many different things where we get to know each other in a different way.
Yeah.
And so that's why our conversation can flow like that,
Yeah.
because we've now gotten to know each other more than just like, what you doing this weekend,
Correct.
you know? So I think that's really important.
Yeah. And I almost forgot, like, we had a really good time in New York. And I feel like that's what really brings people closer, right? At least for me.
Yeah.
That one-on-one time, that
Yeah.
ability. Maybe this is an untalked about hack, but like living in the same area as your friends makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Rob conveniently flew down. This week is big in Atlanta.
I did fly down.
We're going to have a beautiful experience all weekend following the podcast. But I feel like it's in these moments where we're able to connect that we also just see how much each of us have grown in different aspects. And so I'm excited again to see where 907 goes.
Yeah.
And as we're approaching homecoming season, I want to hit on, what are you most looking forward to as we approach homecoming season?
I'm looking forward to new stuff.
Yeah.
I think like this shirt that I'm wearing, I will big up myself. I have never made anything like this. The quality is really, really nice. I'm leaning into knits. Last year I did cardigans and they sold out in like 2 hours. And so I realized like, hey, like I said, the MVP product, I was like, oh, this is the one. Let's do some more. And I'm excited because I think I've made some of my best products in the last like 6 months. I have been looking for a new job for my 9-to-5 work, and so I've had a lot of time. And usually when you're working, you don't have all the time to put into, I find the time, but you don't always have it.
Right.
Right now, my creativity is up because I have the headspace. So I think I've made some of the best work that I've made, even in talking about the women's wear and stuff. These are things I've been thinking about. I never felt like you had the bandwidth to do it. Right now, I'm like, oh, we done made this. Let's, move on it while I have the time. Yeah. Before you get the next thing, work on what you have because you already have a thing.
Yeah.
So
I love that. And again, just in this conversation, I realized that's also an area that we bond over, right? I just got out of unemployment or my time off.
Let's call it a time off. Time off.
An unplanned time off. But it was in that time off that I decided to start the podcast.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, and I want to get a little bit into spirituality because I think it's important that we talk about our foundation, right? It's so easy in this environment, in this political climate, be shifted to, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do next. This is the time in which you double down. And so I want to hear from you, what is keeping you grounded during this time and what is motivating you to keep going in knowing that there's so many things that's kind of just
in flux. Yeah. So one, you got to have faith. You got to have a lot of it. And some days I don't have it, but a lot of times you do have to have it. And so even when I think of like what drives me, my business name is NineOh7 because it's named after my mom. And so this weekend is the 20th anniversary of my mom passing. And so when I think of something that drives me, I'm always thinking about my mom was on it. She was always doing something. And so like one of our A&T new slogans is like always doing, never done. Yeah. And I think of the fact that like in her legacy, she's still not done because I'm still doing, and keeping her alive. And so I think that that's something that drives me. And honestly, it's like a lot of that faith comes from knowing that you've made it this far through so many things and you're going to make it through whatever because you can handle life. Yeah. You have the tools. So yeah.
I love that. And I think it's a great reminder to say we're so focused on the future, but if you look back, he's always been consistent. And when I say he, I'm very clear about my Lord and Father.
Always. But seriously,
embrace
that's
me.
But like that's a real thing. And it's just like in times of like you may feel it like where it's turmoil or whatever, like you are not necessarily in control, but it's like God is, and he's going to bring you to wherever you need to go. Because right now I've been thinking like, okay, is God trying to tell me like do this full time? You sure? Yeah. Like, I don't know, and sometimes you have to think like, do I have the faith to take that leap? Yeah. And I don't know, but right now this has paid my bills for a couple of months and I'm like, okay, like, you got to really, it's kind of like you got to put both feet in the water. Like you really have to have that faith that like God's going to take you wherever you need to go.
9 years into your venture with no outside investors, how do you continue, or actually take us back, right? What was your vision for 907?
Honestly, I really just thought I was making T-shirts for homecoming. I was thinking about what I could do in college. I used to make T-shirts for the school.
Yeah.
I was a contracted employee for A&T, and I made T-shirts for homecomings, Aggie Fest, all kinds of stuff. And I knew I was a graphic designer. I would make stuff, but I really never thought about where this could go. So when I really went and got paperwork, it was really just I needed something to do, and that was what I turned to.
Yeah.
It has grown into this, but at first I really was like, I'm about to just start a T-shirt business. I didn't really know where it was going to go.
I love that. And I love that you said, I didn't know, right? A lot of people feel like when they're going into any kind of venture, they have to have the how, what, when, where, and, the all things. And so playing into that, I want to focus in on if you were to look back at yourself, right? We love a flashback at Robert at North Carolina A&T, walking to campus. What would you tell that younger version of yourself?
Oh, I would have did so much stuff so much earlier.
Yeah.
I would have told my younger self, all those things in your mind that you think of and that you want to do, you can try them right now.
Yes.
You don't need a crazy budget to do some of these things.
Yeah.
You can make one shirt, just see how it fares. And so I see a lot of younger people now starting businesses in college, and I look at them like, that is where it's at, because you learn so much about yourself, about the world. And so I think I would tell younger me to take the chance, take the risk.
Love that.
Yeah.
So, Rob, one of the things that I find across different friendship groups is like everyone is trying to find their place, right? We have multiple entrepreneurs in our group.
Yeah.
What does it look like to partner?
I would say it is a gift and a curse, and that you are running a business and so are they.
Yeah.
So you have to find partners who are willing to understand your vision, but also people that want to understand your vision, but also are willing to bring their creativity without dumbing down whatever thing they bring.
Yep.
So I often work with a friend named Dorian. He has Dorian Troy Studios.
Yes.
And Dorian is a fine artist. He makes digital art, and it's really advanced. A lot of my stuff is more like logos, like what you're seeing us wearing. And so when we work together, we have to understand, like, how do we find synergy between your style and mine? Because as an artist, I want to respect you, and I want you to also respect me. So I like to work with partners who understand and are willing to kind of collaborate.
So I love that. And we're always going to shout out Dorian Troy Studios. He was a previous guest. Love him down. But one of the points that I think you really hit on that I want to sort of double click into is your design element. Rob, I think you have such a defined way of styling and ensuring that your vision sort of holds true. How do you balance hearing other people's perspective or ideas, but also doubling down on the fact that this is 907?
I'm going to tell y'all this. Opinions, everybody has them.
Yes.
I have my own. Just feedback is a gift, but you can't take everything with you. You have to understand, like, this is my thing. And I got customers. I need to make sure I make stuff they like.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's my vision. That's why you ended up, like buying the stuff.
Right.
So you take pieces, you take what you will, take what you don't. But you can't allow everyone else's opinion to sway yours too much. So I try not to ask too many people for feedback, because it kind of clouds my judgment, or it can. And so I try to say, like, hey, here's my initial vision.
Yeah.
What do I think about this? And I'm working with colleges and their licensed vendors. So when I'm licensed, I have to get approved. So the things that you and I are wearing, North Carolina A&T had to approve it.
Yes.
That means they tell me no a lot. So I have to work around their brand guidelines, but also try to give my own fashion and style. And my style outside of my business is different. And so I try to bring some of that in my designs.
Love that. And zoom in. Okay. I love a good jersey. Love what you're doing from a branding perspective. And
Thank you.
I want to talk about, because again, we want to kind of dive into more of where you're going. And so what is next for 907?
Okay. Present day.
Yes.
It is homecoming season, which is my busiest season of the year.
Yes.
But after homecoming season, I am leaning into women's denim and women's wear.
Okay.
So I've made men's wear. I've made some men's jeans, but my main customer base is mostly women.
Wow.
It doesn't matter what products I'm selling. Most of my products are sold to women. So I said, what can I do for my supporters and people that like to shop with me? So right now I'm in the ideation production phase of some women's jeans. And I think that the women's line is going to be called Number 9.
Oh, that's hot. And then who are you looking to as an inspiration? What body type are you looking for?
So it is an inclusive line.
Love
It
that.
is going to go from size 5 or 3 to size 20. So it is inclusive of many sizes.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be, I feel like I have supporters of all different body types and I want them to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So the jeans are based off of jeans that look like they make you feel like you look cute. You look voluptuous, whatever size you are, whether you're slim or a little bit more plus size. Like, I want everyone to feel like I'm that girl when I wear these. And I think that that's really important. A good pair of jeans is hard to come by.
Correct.
So
let's talk about your product line. What are some of the other schools that you're aligned to? I, of course, know Spell House because my good friend goes there.
Yeah, so I'm right now licensed for 10 schools.
Okay.
So that is Howard University, Hampton University, North Carolina A&T, Winston-Salem State, Virginia State, Morgan State. I'm forgetting one.
Norfolk State? No.
Norfolk State I actually just got again.
Oh, okay, good.
Spelman, Morehouse, Clark Atlanta.
Okay.
I believe that that's 10, but I do those schools, but I also sell products that are non-school related.
Okay.
So some of my products where I work with Dorian Troy Studios, we make things that celebrate Black art, Black film, and just like Black creativity.
Yeah.
So that includes stuff like we have a paid in full design, I have a living single and an insecure blanket. I try to insert those things too because I get a lot of feedback from people who didn't go to HBCUs that still want to support your brand. So I try to have a little bit of everything, which is why I think it's important to reach people who are not in your network, like you mentioned.
Love that. Okay, so we've talked about where you started, your vision for where you're going. Rob, tell us the negatives of being a business owner. And I don't want you to give us the cookie cutter kind of answer, right? Oh, it's hard. You need to finance. No, I want you to give us the challenges that people don't often speak about when it comes to when it comes to businesses, but really, what have we not talked about from a social media perspective?
From a social media perspective, growing your brand online is very difficult.
Yeah.
You can make the best content, you can have strategy, it doesn't mean it's going to hit.
Yes.
And I work in advertising in my day-to-day work, so I understand it is you throwing stuff at the wall.
Yes.
You got to see what hits. I think what I have found is interesting is that, like, I probably have 3,000, 3,500 followers on Instagram, but I've sold thousands of products. It is not rooted in your following because I'm on the ground.
Yes.
I hit the ground. I'm in the streets. I vend. I'm always places selling. And that is how you, one, build community, but also find people who believe in your story.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important. I would say some of the pieces of business that I run into that maybe we would call negatives, I'd call them challenges.
Oh, we love a good challenge.
These things can be, my biggest challenge, I think, is funding. I think funding and like getting a small business loan, all of that stuff is tied to your personal when you don't have a large like business credit. And so I'm learning still about that all these years later because now I realize I should have tried that some years ago. I've been funding this on my own and it gets costly. So that's one piece, but also working with manufacturers. My manufacturers are in different countries. I'm up every morning, 6, 7 in the morning, and I'm messaging like 5 different people because I have all these projects running. And so let's say one person does my embroidery wrong. Then I'm like, wait a second, hold on, we ordering 100 of these. Don't make any more. Make that one and like, wait a second. And you have to be as detailed as possible because my understanding is American and their understanding is from different places. So they only assume what you tell them. So when I'm giving them tech packs, it needs to be detailed. And I've had hiccups. I just had a hiccup recently, last week. I made some sweaters and a mock-up. I was telling them, put something on the chest, and they put the design like right here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is there any way that you can change this? And he's like, this is how I interpreted your mock-up. It's how you designed it. And I'm like, damn, did I do that or did you not ask me before you move forward? It's a double entendre. It might have been me, might have been him. But that happens and it's a part of the game. And I've lost money like that. I've made sweaters and things like, it can
Well, that's what I want to talk through, right? Like, I want people to walk away and not just hear like, "Oh, this happened," but really, like, share. Give us a horror story.
Okay, I'll give an example. This shirt that I'm wearing right now is a knit sweater.
Yeah.
1 year for homecoming, I wanted to make V-neck sweaters like Polo Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
It was going to have like a patch, a logo. They gave me these sweaters. It was yellow stripes that were like bright yellow, and then the patch was supposed to match, and it was a totally different color.
Yeah.
And I was like, nobody's going to buy this.
No.
When I got it, all the pictures looked like the colors matched. But then when it was received, everything looked different. And I'm like panicking. I'm like, y'all need to make this again. Like, I have an event coming up. Like, they're like, we can't give you a refund. We already shipped it. Because that's how that works.
Yeah.
Like, they don't do refunds. It's like you paid your money. And so I was out of a lot of money in that project. And so I really think that that's just a testament to the fact that you have to be, what would they call that? Some people will use the word like maniacal. You got to be like really focused because detail is everything. And you miss a detail, it's going to cost you. It ain't going to cost them.
Right.
And so that's really something you got to pay attention to. Every detail really matters.
We're talking about overseas vendors, manufacturers rather. How did you connect to who you're actually doing business with?
Instagram.
Okay, good.
Actually, I found some of them on Instagram. Some of them found me. And what I did was I would test. Everything is a test. It's like going on a date. I got to test this out.
I
see
know you
what's
wanted
going
to go
on.
there. We're not doing that on this podcast, Robert.
So what I would do is I would make one product.
Yeah.
They would send me samples or photos, and I would say, okay, I like this one. Now, it is a risk because you don't know what it's going to look like when you get it. You've never received physically their product.
Right.
So I would get one sample. I think the first time I did overseas manufacture, I got jerseys.
Okay.
And I think I got 25 of them because I was like, can I live without this $500?
Yeah.
And when I got them, I said, ooh, this is hot. I bought like 5 different, I ended up ordering a bunch.
Yeah.
That guy has been my manufacturer for like 5 years now.
Okay.
So now we have a relationship. He's come to New York. We've gone to dinner.
Oh, wow.
We are like clients. It's like what I would do with my business. We're client relationships is good, and so like we talk to each other on a regular basis. He's always showing me when he makes new things, and that helps me decide what products I want to bring to the table. So it is risky.
Yes.
I've just now expanded to like working with a Chinese manufacturer, and so like again, they're in different places, they do different things. So you just have to be willing. A part of business is risk.
Yeah.
You need to be able to take risks. If you can't take risks, don't get in the game.
Yeah. We're going to zoom in on that. How have tariffs impacted your business?
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about it. Tariffs have been, in some instances, it hasn't been that bad. The price has only gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
But recently, I just had a product. I make varsity jackets.
Okay.
And my varsity jackets went up by like $40 per unit. Per unit. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying one. I'm saying if I'm getting 50 of these, and they used to cost $70, they now cost $110.
Wow.
So what do I sell it to my customer for?
Right.
My customer is not buying a $300 jacket
Right.
because they're here to have fun. Their money is getting spent other places.
Right.
Your pricing needs to match your audience.
Right.
So right now I'm testing out some other manufacturers because that price point just doesn't work. But does that mean I'm not working with that person? No, I'm getting other stuff that is still in my price range. So you have to be able to spreadsheets, systems. You need to know like what is your cost versus what you might potentially make because you don't know what you're selling.
Right.
You have to really be calculated about a lot of things, especially when it comes to money, because you are the one pushing your money out.
Yeah.
I made that jersey. Yeah. I didn't know if it was going to sell.
Yeah.
You are believing in yourself to say, oh, somebody going to like it.
Yeah.
But somebody might just be like, I don't know if I feel it. So you have to be calculated about like, what are you willing to do?
I love this. And I want to talk about scalability. So a lot of times we hear folks, they're starting out and they're like, I just want to do these 50 units or and then you see the growth opportunity. So when you think about scaling, what kind of systems have you put in place to actually get to the next level?
I think the first thing I think of before systems was people.
Okay.
And I think that was finding people who were willing to go along with me on the ride.
Yes.
Some of those people are your family, some is your friends, and people say like, oh, don't do business with your friends. But I found that my friends have been great business partners. My dad even comes to vending events sometimes and helps me. I've had my stepmom come help me. Like, you need to find people first because you can't do it alone. But systems, I would say like, what's a system that I use regularly?
Well, we know from a finance perspective, you're on QuickBooks.
So, QuickBooks, and I wasn't using QuickBooks for a long time. Someone told me about it and was like, are you not using QuickBooks? Like, what are you doing? I use Stripe as my payment processor, and I actually have had no problems with them. And they have now provided me with business financing because of the amount of income that you've been able to bring.
Yeah.
So you want to find places that offer those kind of things, because I was telling you, business credit is hard to get.
Yeah.
But you can build it by getting these smaller loans from a processor who's already receiving your money.
Yeah.
They're already working with you.
Right.
I use Squarespace, but I'm about to probably shift to Shopify.
Okay.
Most larger brands use Shopify, and there's a lot more integrations. So there's systems that I don't use that I should.
Yeah.
And so you have to figure out what works.
Yeah.
I also have systems I do royalties. I have to pay royalties to the colleges.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my own spreadsheets that I have to regularly do. This is monthly. You have to send them how much you sold per product, and then you send them a check.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of paperwork behind the fashion of it all.
Yeah.
You got to have your stuff in order.
Yeah. We know, so even in our circle, right, we know that we have our, I don't want to say true entrepreneurs, but we have people in our group that's doing business, and then the folks that are about their business. And I like to think that you're one of those people you're about your business, right? You talk about your financial component. You talk about scaling your business. Rob, a lot of times we want to give advice.
Yeah.
How have you, as you're thinking about giving advice to others, what are some of those indicators that you look for to say, yeah, I'm willing to double down or support them, or I'm going to just let this play out?
It's a thin line.
Yes.
Because I feel like there's so much knowledge that I have now that I like to share. I've sent people my business plans, all kinds of stuff, because I believe that if I had some of that information before, I wouldn't have had to climb and figure it out as much. Even if it's not, you don't know everything,
right.
But those things I'm willing to share because you need to.
Yeah.
I think when I'm thinking of people who are interested in actually open to feedback, that's where I share my knowledge. I think you need to be open to the fact that you or I doesn't know everything, but also I've been doing this for a really long time. It's some stuff that I do know that shit is correct. Yeah. You can listen to others, and I think you have to find people who realize that you may not be a subject matter expert in this one thing, and that's okay. You need to be able to let other people in.
Love that. Okay, so Rob, I want to hear your advice. We're sitting here on this platform. I think it would be remiss not to give that one piece of advice that you're regardless of industry, regardless of sector that you're working in, do this thing. What is that thing?
One thing?
One thing.
Can I choose two?
No, we know Rob's a yapper. One thing.
Okay. My recommendation is to make one product and test it out before you start expanding.
Yeah.
So often we have ideas and we want to do everything. Make one thing, what they call an MVP, a minimum viable product or something. Make that one thing and test, learn. That is what you need to do first. Do not go big. Go small. When I first got licensed for colleges, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get 20. And so over time, I grew and I started getting more. And then I realized I don't have the team to promote for 20 schools.
Yeah.
We're going down. So now I have 10, because I also realized it costed me way more to keep those licenses. So again, it's you don't have to scale beyond your means. Yeah. Try to stay where you are and see how it can grow, then expand.
Love that. So Rob, when it comes to your brand, NineOh7, people don't necessarily shop with your brand because they know you, right? Or your story. But as you look to expand, even on our podcast, the Big Moves, Bigger Conversation, there's a reason you came on the podcast.
Yeah.
And one of those is around your branding, right? Social media branding. Tell us more about your story. What are you trying to do? Where are you?
Yeah. So I think that my story has a number of different parts.
Yeah.
I mentioned what my foundation is and is my mom, but that does not necessarily associate with my customer base. So often I have to explain to people what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does it represent? And usually people are very wow, that's really cool. But I've realized that you also have to find, that's where I lean into branding myself. So you can catch me on social media talking to my camera, telling people about my product, because what I've realized is people do latch on to who you are.
Yeah.
I spoke to a client yesterday who is in Japan. Yeah. She lives in Japan. She said that she found me on TikTok because a custom AKA blanket video I did went viral on her timeline. And she was like, I looked at your stuff. I've been following you. I just love what you're doing. And so what she was saying was, I really like what you're doing. I don't know you at all.
Yeah.
I think that what you do is dope. Like, you should keep doing exactly what you're doing. Yeah. So I try to let people into my process a little bit because I realize that gets people to pay attention. Yeah. So I think in the next few years, I see myself being more at the forefront. I used to want to be just in the back. Now I'm like, let's just do it. Yeah. I'll be in the front, you know, and I do think it's fun. I enjoy making content and stuff like that, but yeah, I think I'll see myself being in the forefront and really feeling comfortable being that. Yeah. Being the face.
I don't think people realize, as we're talking about social media, when people come up to you and there's not a direct connection and they're just like, hey, this is what I think of you, it hits me differently. Yeah. Because it almost is like a reminder of there's value there, right? Yeah. For whatever reason, outside of them knowing all things about you, they've connected. Mm-hmm. And if we think about life in a grand scheme of things, it is about relationships and your impact on people. And so when I think about my own brand, I always want to be a footprint. I want to be a heart print. Yeah. I want people to remember. That. Okay. Of course you like that. It's me. Big Sascha. But I'm serious. Like, I want people to feel like I met her, I loved her, that was our experience. Yeah. And so when you think about your heart print, what is that for you?
Ooh, I try to lead with integrity. Yeah. I never want someone to feel like I was getting over on them. I always want to feel like what I'm giving to my customer, everybody gets the same experience. Yeah. If you work with me, I want you to like what you got. Like, I was having that meeting yesterday because we had been working through designs, and she was like, I just don't know how I feel. So I was like, hey, here's my number. Call me on the phone. Let's figure it out. And I think we figured it out. And she was like, thanks so much. Like, you didn't have to get on the phone. And I was like, that's customer service, and that is important. Correct. Because I always want people to feel like I'm shopping with you. Yeah. It's a gift to me that you're shopping with me. Yeah. You don't have to shop with me. It's 20,000 places you can shop, but you are here with me. So you deserve that service. And so I want my heart print, as you said, to be that I'm what is the word for that? A person with integrity. Yeah. And a person that cares about the product they put out, but also, like, I check in with my customers sometimes, like, how did it work? Recently, somebody got a jersey and it had something on it, so I sent her a new one. You have to be willing to follow up. Yeah. That's a part of relationships. Yeah. Those same customers always come back. Yeah.
It's easier. I did read that. It's easier to keep a customer than it is to get a new one.
It costs you a lot more to find new ones, but I have so many that come back.
Returning customers. You look at this table, I've been a returning customer, so I want to know on the podcast, what are you going to do for me?
I got you with something cool for homecoming. We'll get you something good.
I love that. And now that you're going into women's brands, I'm Dorian Troy's prototype. I should be 907.
We're going to get you some jeans.
I'm excited because now you didn't gave me a goal that I didn't know I had. We're going to sell out at homecoming. I'm ready. We're the dance. We going up, but we also selling out. And I think that's important, right? We talk about friendship and how people can pour in. Mm-hmm. Rob, you send a message and tell us to send it to 25 people or everybody in the group, like, buy something. Like, it is definitely possible. And even on a previous episode, we talked about the need to continue to reach up, but it's left to right. Your peers can also help in
for sure
all of your ventures. And so I think you're doing an amazing job in leaning in that aspect. And I'm excited in a couple of months for us to hear the next iteration or the next phase. And so to that point, I want to make sure we get your socials. Okay. How can people stay connected to you, Rob?
So we are NineOh7 on all socials. That's NineOh7. That's on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Well, Rob, I wanted to affectionately say I appreciate you for coming on today's episode.
And I appreciate you for having me. I'm so excited about what's to come for big moves and bigger conversations.
You are so welcome. And I wanted to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Big Moves, Bigger Conversations.